I just want to show you how to paint a look that looks like something you could spend ages on. I think that's the only time you get me doing the that runway walking pose. I was going to zoom in then, Jesus. I noticed in the last one, when I was editing and filming the last module, I was doing this on the page. And then I was having like a pencil on this, like it's chaos. So now that we've got that down, we'll start with this part here. Because it's a dark base, I would start with the print. So we're just going to do some basic shapes here. What I'm doing is sort of clouds or something like that. Get the orange color, add in a single dot or something for that. And then get the black and then just map out some of the little flowers. And then I'll just outline around what we just did. Because all we want is an impression, like I keep saying, it's an impression of this, it's not an exact replica. As long as you can look at that and see that they're in the same ballpark, that's all that matters. So now we filled all that in and that's relatively precise, at least for me. What I'm then gonna do is, I would tackle this, if I were to tackle this with paint, I'll do half paint and half Promarker, I think. I would capture the form like that. And then I'm not gonna fill the whole thing in because that'd be very heavy. So I'm just gonna imply some of the shape on the arms. And then a little bit of this padding or puffiness on there. And then get a little bit of that there as well. That's what I would do for that part. And then if I were to do that in Promarker, Promarker's opposite because paint you can layer on each other, Promarker you can't. So I would start with the print and I would put the base tone of these flowers. Oh, I got some paint on it. So base tone. So I'm just mapping out roughly where they are. I'm not being too precise. So I'm just mapping that out because Promarker you can layer like darker colors on top of each other. You just can't layer a lighter color on top of the darker. This one, I know with those shapes, I can now go in and shape out a little bit more of the form. But as you see, not being precise, just doing squiggles in the rough shapes of things. And then I've gone a little bit outside the lines just because I think that adds a bit of energy. And I always like floral prints to be as if like you're walking and then it's like the leaves and everything are caught in the wind. And then Promarker wise, just negative space for the ones that are in white, just because once you filled that white in, you can't really get that back properly. And then just fill in the shape really roughly, not worrying too much about you know, getting rid of all the white. And then I might just clean up some areas, maybe shape some of these a little bit better, because I like to have at least one or two that are kind of really accurate, and then the rest of it can go to shit. As long as you have that one or two reference points, that's all that I really care about. And then do that. Oh, it was a brush pen this time. So there's a motion, there's an energy to it, like it's not really labored on. I'm just kind of attacking it. And if I were to paint this one, main thing about getting some, like loosening up the coloring is just making sure everything's not uniform. So what I would do is get a few different brushes and then just roughly apply the color. Like that, so that's giving me the base to work with. Then I'd get a smaller brush, get that darker orange tone, shape some of these. I mean, ideally you would wait a little bit longer so the black paint is fully dry, but I'm impatient. And then get an even thinner brush, fill it with the white, and then just go in and kind of add some of these in. Again, just impressions of them, I'm not getting them precise. I say it's because I love the Impressionists, but I don't know if it's just because I'm lazy. And then what I do is go back over it if I'm feeling it's not bright enough or something in some areas. I'm like, I'll just get a bigger brush and just kind of add in some areas. Just to messy it up a little bit. And that's how I would do it. I'd probably work into that a bit longer, but That's how roughly I would do it. I'm just going to give her a lip color. And for this, I'll do half and half again. I think for this one, I would do a base tone like that, making sure that all the brush strokes are vertical to go along with the parallel, that kind of sectioning. Then I would get the pink tone and just block that out. Probably need a lighter pink tone. Something here, nothing crazy. And then what I would do is get the darker blue that you can see. Let's try and find a good match. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's fine. And then just look at the basic shapes. And then because I find Promarker quite heavy, I'm just gonna do some of them in color pencil just to be a bit softer. And then because I've done a whole lot there, I'm just gonna do the boots very abstract because I don't want too much detail to be on there like that, because otherwise it takes the attention away. And if I were to do that in paint, just had a look on camera, that looks so messy. I'd probably spend a bit more time on it, to be honest, but if I were to draw this part in, color this in paint, again, it's changing up the brush strokes and the sizing. So this is a very wide brush because I want to get the base color down. Because I want that to be a plane of color, I don't want as many brush strokes because I don't want the attention to be taken away from what I want it to focus on. So that's a plane of color. There's some brush strokes in there, some different tones. Then what I would do is get a darker color and just kind of shape things very loosely like that. And I like that some of the areas are more pigmented than others because the paint underneath is still wet, so I'm just still getting some of that in there. So it's not as strong in some areas, so there's nice variety. So yeah, it's just a general impression. That's how I would tackle it. So very chaotic, basically. That's just, yeah, basically how I would approach coloring something in a looser way. So you have to think about, so you can think about abstraction, you can think about looser brush strokes, variety of brush strokes, so thinner, thicker, areas of more detail, areas of less detail, simplifying what colors you use, stuff like that. Like all of that, you don't have to do everything all at once. You just kind of pick which ones you want to implement into your illustration.